Twin Text Experience by Jessica Marquez. I'm going to go ahead and go to the first book, Dear America, The Winter of Red Snow, The Revolutionary Diary of Abigail Jane Stewart, Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, 1777. The author is Christiana Gregory. The publisher, Scholastic Inc. Year 2010, City, New York. The California Social Studies State Standard is 5.6.1. Identify and map the major military battles, campaigns, and turning points of the Revolutionary War, the roles of the American and the British leaders, and the Indian leaders' alliances on both sides. And 5.6.4. Understand the personal impact and economic hardship of the war on families, problems of financing the war, wartime inflation, and laws against hoarding goods and materials for profiteering. The topic is 5.6. Students understand the course and consequences of the American Revolution. The synopsis: Abigail and her family were just trying to get by when General George Washington and his army of worn-out men come to Valley Forge. In the middle of winter, the army has little food and some have no coats and no shoes. George Washington was kind to Abigail, her family, and the neighbors who gave them what they had to help maintain George Washington's army. Abigail grows up quick with the things she witnesses during the army's stay in Valley Forge. Abigail's family has dealt with heartache before and they lost a baby. Abigail now has a new baby brother to help take care of, but the family fears they might lose him. She also has tasks like tending to her family's daily needs, attending to George Washington's laundry, helping George Washington's wife, Martha, visit the sick and dying soldiers, and her family takes in a widowed wife of a soldier who has died. Abigail learns what it means to be true to your country and proud to be an American. The other book is My Brother Sam is Dead. The authors are James Lincoln Collier and Christopher Collier. The publisher is Four Winds. The year it was 1974 and the city was New York. The California Social Studies State Standards are 5.6.4. Understand the personal impact and economic hardship of the war on families, problems of financing the war, wartime inflation, and laws against hoarding goods and materials and profiteering. The topic is 5.6. Students understand the course and consequences of the American Revolution. The grade level is 5th grade, and the synopsis is: Tim Meeker is the narrator. He is a young boy and lives in the town of Redding, Connecticut around the time of the American Revolution begins. Tim does not care about either side of the revolution. His father, Life, is a loyalist to Great Britain, like the rest of Redding. Sam is Tim's older brother who just came home from Yale. He tells his family that he has decided to join the Continental Army, much to his family's dismay. Sam runs away and steals his father's Brown Bess, a gun, and joins the Continental Army. Things are becoming harder in the Meeker home. On Sam's rare visits home, Tim is the only one who talks to him. While on a trip with his father to sell beef to the Loyalists in New York, Tim and his father are stopped by a band of robbers who abduct Life. Tim goes home and watches one of his friends be decapitated and another friend get captured by the British Army. Tim begins to have stronger feelings about the two sides. The next year, Tim finds out that his father and friend have died on a prison ship due to an outbreak of cholera. After this, Tim's mother begins to drink heavily. Prices of food and drink go up, and the Redcoats even show up in Redding to seize weapons and fight a few patriots there. The last time Sam returns, he is framed for stealing cattle that belongs to the Meekers. His own army executes him as a warning to soldiers who might do the same thing if faced by extreme hunger. The story then cuts to 1826, where Tim reveals he survived the revolution. He has written the story to tell what life was like during the war. He mourns Sam and then reveals he has a happy life. Okay. Procedure for using the books. I would use these books to show what could be seen as different sides of the American Revolution. In Dear America, The Winter of Red Snow, The Revolutionary War Diary of Abigail Jane Stewart, Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, 1777, Abigail sees the patriotism from the soldiers George Washington and Martha Washington and respects that and develops her own patriotism. In My Brother Sam is Dead, the focus is on one small town in Redding, Connecticut, and is very much a Loyalist supporter. This book shows how the Revolutionary War affected the town and the people. Tim Meeker is the main character, and the war has affected his family greatly. He is conflicted throughout the whole book as to which side he believes to be correct. He eventually decides no one is correct and hates the war because it has cost him so much. Which one would you use first? I would use Dear America, The Winter of Red Snow, The Revolutionary War Diary of Abigail Jane Stewart, Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, 1777 first, because it focuses more on how the soldiers were dealing with the war. It shows more of the struggles of the daily life of a soldier. I feel as it is important to show that aspect first and then go on to how the American Revolution affected towns and people. My Brother Sam is Dead shows the point of view of the regular people and how the war is affecting them. It shows a partial point of view of one soldier, Sam Meeker, and his dealings with the war. Tim Meeker is struggling at home because the war has caused him the death of his father and later on his brother. He becomes the man of the house at a young age and has to grow up and mature quickly. That happened to a lot of families during this time, and it is important to show the difficult times families went through. These books show more than one side of the American Revolution, which is important when talking about war. What writing, art, or other activity could be used in conjunction with the books? So I have 4 activities here. Have students pretend to be a soldier in the Revolutionary War and write a letter home to their family. And the ELA standard would be write narratives to develop real or imagined experiences or events using effective techniques, descriptive details, and clear event sequences. The next activity is have students pretend to be a journalist and write about an event that took place during the American Revolution. They should also draw an illustration that goes with the article. There's 2 standards for that. The first one is analyze multiple accounts of the same event or topic, noting important similarities and differences in the point of view they represent. And the other is write an opinion piece on topics or texts supporting a point of view with reasons and information. My third activity is create a timeline of important events that took place during the American Revolution. The ELA standard is compare and contrast the overall structure, for example, chronology, comparison, cause, effect, problem, solution of events, ideas, concept, or information in 2 or more texts. And my last activity is write mini biographies of important historical figures during the American Revolution. The ELA standard is write informative, explanatory texts to examine a topic and convey ideas and information clearly. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.